But I do want to ask you about some of these reports suggesting that the Chinese banks are considering lowering the deposit rates once again this week. I mean, is that any surprise to you, given what the PBOC had been signalling?
Yeah, so actually, in the past 2 years, large Chinese banks, they have lowered their deposit rates 5 times. So, for example, the 3-year deposit rate, right, declined around 50 BPs in the past 2 years. So I think that's a kind of continued efforts by Chinese banks to offset the decline in loan yield. So I'm not surprised to see them do this again. But very interestingly, I mean, despite the efforts to lower the kind of benchmark deposit rate, the average deposit cost of large Chinese banks in the past 2 years actually is negative. They did not decline too much. That's mainly because along with the lowering of deposit rate, they are seeing a higher proportion of higher cost time deposit. I mean, the depositors are shifting from demand deposit to time deposit, which negatively affect the average deposit cost of Chinese banks. That's still our expectation. We believe in future, I mean, Chinese banks' net interest margin will continue to decline because the decline of deposit cost will be slower than the decline in loan yield.
Right. And very quickly, before we go, David, your call on some of the smaller regional banks, do you think they would be able to withstand the pressure that the economy is facing?
Mm-hmm. In our view, those small regional banks, they are the weakest part in China's banking system. On the one hand, they heavily rely on net interest income, which account for over 80% of their revenue. And they are facing a very quick decline in net interest margin. And on the other side, compared with large banks, their exposure to the property developers, to lower tier local government financing vehicles is much higher. So they don't have too much room or buffer to lower their credit cost. So very likely we are going to see a very quick decline of their profitability along with the deterioration of their asset quality. I would not be surprised to see the Chinese government will restructure several local regional banks in future.